Welcome to the Cedar Creek Classic. This is in Cedarburg, Wisconsin. It is day 6 of Tour of America's Dairyland, and it's bound to be a fast one. I was not in the top 10, so no call-up today, which meant starting pretty far back. Would not be an issue just because this course was pretty long, pretty open. You can see here there's plenty of spots to move up, and we're all fanned out even though people are like hitting it hard on the front. There's 4 turns, as you can see, one tight one. That last turn is pretty tight, but the rest of it is wide open and super fast and kind of a long course, 1.1 miles, almost 2 kilometers. So really not worried about positioning for most of this race. You can move up so fast. I was going to move up and just sniff for breakaways if at all possible, but Clayton and I were 100% expecting it to be a fast sprint at the end and just being there at the front at the end. You can see a little tight turn, corner 2 there. This is also corner 2, and this is the one incident of the race that Wolfgang there was in. You can see Matthew Richards there hit the deck. A little bit too much wheel overlap. Me back here with Iman Lucas. Had to get like my bar disconnected from his rear wheel, and then had to bang my shifter back out, which you'll see my hand right there hitting the shifter back out. But I put a foot down, got back on the bike, and I'm back in the pack less than a quarter later. So tons of people here, like 120 dudes lined up for the start of this race. And I'm just back here tail gunning. Lucas Burgoyne, Adam Meyerson here, spending no energy pretty much. The first part of this race was endurance, if not less, just like flowing through the corners. It would bunch up a bunch. It would bunch up through the corners in the field, and once it bunched up, you could just catch back on in that corner instead of hitting brakes and jumping out of it. So I did this for so much of the race. I think I waited until like 15 to 20 laps to go to start moving up. You can see this is a little gap forming. Burgoyne and I not worried about it because it is super bunched up there, and through this next corner we know we're going to catch on with endurance watts. Pretty fun. It's a weird way to race compared to a lot of the faster, more technical courses, but there was a good crowd and lots of parties around the race course, so we were having a good time, just like soaking in the atmosphere. About 36 minutes to go, I decided to start moving up. Probably 15 laps to go, maybe a little more. You can see here, just taking the inside line, starting to make stuff happen. It's pretty stretched out at the front, so I think people are starting to also try to make things happen up there. Not going to worry too much on the straightaway. Everybody's coasting there. I'll get a few more pedal strokes in before this corner and just try to take the corner as fast as possible. Pretty easy to move up. You can see I started at the back there into the last corner of the course, and then up here they're already starting to bunch up again. I haven't really put any pressure through the pedals. Scott McGill, Iman Lucas, and I were back there just chatting a little bit. Scott was giving me a little hard time for following him so much the past few days, but dude's a weapon. So back to moving up, and here we are 3 corners later, almost at the front. Like went from 100-something wheel to, you can see Meyerson also did the same thing, to top 15, top 20 wheels in a few corners with relatively no power input. And I have made it up to this. There's a little bunch up. There's nobody off the front. You see Michael Garrison, some Rainstorm guys here. And then on the left, Scott McGill has come up to the front with me and sends his one attack of the day, I believe. Rainstorm dude follows him, and Ethan's going to set a little false tempo, let everything get away, and Scott McGill is going to make it happen with that other Rainstorm dude. So they're off the front with 34 minutes to go in the race, and not a lot of incentive from the pack to chase it. I remember a few times on this section here, I was in like my biggest gear, the 50-10, and just like went to shift down and had nothing else because we were going so fast in the pack. So I thought it was going to come back. I was not too worried about it, but it became pretty clear a little later that it was not going to. They called that $600 preem there, and Preston I was going for it. I think there was like a little overlap of wheels, or they hit something on the road. 5411 guy went down as well in that little tumble. But $600 preem, and a little bit later, 20 minutes ago, believe that's Thomas Givens. If not, it's a automatic guy. Makes a little move off the front, stretches out the field. Everybody's trying to chase back on. Rainstorm dudes are kind of marking the solo moves. Get automatic back there. And then I'm going to send my little attack as well. So this is first time I'm really starting to animate anything, and half a lap later I catch up to, I believe this is Gabe from, or it might be Wanarango. Yeah, he's got a camera on. That's Wanarango from Work Hard, Be Humble. Catch up to him, and then it could be Gabe. No, definitely Wanarango. And we get caught by the field, but about a lap or two later, 10 minutes to go in the race, there's another little preem, and Cade Bigmore launches for it. I really had no kick to go for it, but I could start feeling something was going to go possibly across to Scott McGill and the other Rainstorm guys group, and so I felt like this was a good opportunity to make that happen through this little slight uphill part. Everybody back in the field was very stretched out. Luke Fetzer took up the front there and tried to make a little bridge move, a little attack to get Lucas Burgoyne and the rest of the field up to that Scott McGill move. Those guys are still off the front. I think they might have pulled out a gap of like 20 to 30 seconds. So had quite a straight, and I attacked around Luke here. You can see with 1 lap to go, we're catching up to Scott McGill and his group. Scott McGill sends an attack off the front with a lap to go, and it's me and Gabe and one of the Kiwi guys, one of the Mido Q dudes, the New Zealand champion. We had a little break after I attacked over Luke there, and we got pretty close. We had maybe 20 seconds on the field, 10 seconds on the field until the last lap here, and the Mido Q guy had not taken a single pull in our little breakaway. Gabe and I had just been motoring. Eventually, Florence Nauer there caught up. I'd hit brakes a little bit, or check up to not get taken out by his wheel there. Those guys sent it around us, and yeah, I'm almost dropped here. I'm like fully sprinting into this last corner. The field is catching up to us, and I really don't want to be like taken out in this last corner, so I tried to take a little defensive line and just, yeah, like fully sprinting. You can see Scott McGill taking the win up there, pretty big gap, and then, man, Florence and the Mido Q guy taking second and third, and I'm just going backwards after pulling for that like last 10 minutes in that break. Ended up 14th place. Scott McGill with the win, Florence Nauer in second, and James Gardner from Mido Q in third. My boy Clayton Travis got 8th, so standing in the overall pretty well. On to day 7, Mount Pleasant. I'll have a little recap out for that, but thanks for watching. See ya.